Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Your weekend is not complete without the First Lady of New York Radio. It's the Joan Hamburg Show. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show. And, you know, this is your Sunday treat. Sunday, starting at 2 o'clock. And we bring you the most interesting guests, whether they're in theater, written books, or movie stars, doctors, whatever. We all want to know a lot of information. It's power, and this is where you're going to find it. We've got a great show for you. I should say we always have a great show for you, but Andy Cohen is one of my favorite people. He doesn't even know it. This very charming guy has written 4 best-selling books on the New York Times list. If you've never seen his show, he's the host and executive producer of Watch What Happens Live. It's really good. He's the guy, the executive producer of the Real Housewives franchise. He does the reunion specials. He's won an Emmy, 2 Peabodys. He's an amazing guy. He's got 2 kids, and he's got a new book called The Daddy Diaries, The Year I Grew Up. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you wonder how this guy does it. And his total life has changed as he has become a father. And he had no clue. Like, I think we're all in the same boat, whether you're a man or a woman, or whether you're a single guy trying to do it on your own, or a couple. Parenthood can be very painful, and it's a huge learning experience. And Andy, who's had this big, famous life, he and Anderson Cooper and his high-style friends, their lives have changed because behind all that glamour, many of them have become parents. Andy has a kid, 3 years old, a little boy, and a daughter, Lucy. And instead of describing the diary of his days and his parties and his celebrity, you're going to hear about what it's like to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of kids, how life at the playground is very dramatic, and how a single dad has to navigate having it all. And it's really, I got such a kick out of it. I enjoyed it. And even though my experiences were totally different, it's still the story of bringing up kids and what it takes and all the anxiety. And in his case, his family lives in St. Louis. They're not in New York. So that big support that so many of us hope that we have isn't really in his backyard. But there's no question, being a parent changes absolutely everything. And in Andy's book, you're going to get a behind-the-scenes view of what happens when the rich and famous, when the celebrity change their lives dramatically, how they adjust, how they adapt. The Daddy Diaries. This is all part of the Joan Hamburg Show. We do this every Sunday starting at 2 o'clock. You're a part of it. You're invited. And you're the reason that we all do it. So come on along for the ride. The Daddy Diaries, The Year I Grew Up. Andy Cohen, my guest.
The First Lady of New York Radio.
This is Joan Eats.
How about another unique New York adventure? This one you're not going to believe. New York whale and dolphin watching on American Princess out of Brooklyn. AmericanPrincessCruises.com. 718-474-0555. It is hard to believe. And when someone said to me, how would you like to go whale and dolphin watching? I said, yeah, where do we have to go for that? Brooklyn. That's it. And actually, I remember reading an article in the New York Post about this cruise. It talked about the American Princess whale watching and dolphin adventure cruise that runs about 3.5 hours and leaves from Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, Pier 3. 14 years they have taken New Yorkers, people from New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, and I couldn't believe the number of sightings of whales and dolphins. They said they see mammals 95 to 97% of the time. On their website and Facebook page, they post what they see day to day on these trips. Like last week, 5 humpback whales feeding, breaching, waving, slapping. Sunday, they had 9, and you can get the biggest kick out of this. The trips go every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through October. They do recommend reservations, but a lot of people, don't like to plan that far ahead, so you can get tickets on the day of the trip while boarding the boat. First come, first served. Trips are subject to cancellation because of weather or the discretion of the captain. And every trip is different. They map each one to see the most mammals. The boat holds about 250 people. And there's heat and 2 decks. And here's the thing I love. There's a naturalist aboard who educates and guides the tour. They have an experienced captain and they're experts. Your children, your grandchildren are going to love this. Get such a kick out of it. It's $65 for adults, over 62 it's $60, and children 5 to 12, $45, and little kids under 5, free. And they sail from Sheepshead Bay, Pier 3, and it's right across the street from Applebee's. There is street parking and a garage on Shore Parkway and 21st Street. There's a concession stand on board and a beverage bar. You can't bring your own cooler, but you can bring a sandwich and a snack. Book your reservation. Go online to AmericanPrincessCruises.com or call 718-474-0555. I'm telling you, New York City is full of amazing things that everyone can come and take advantage of, and for very little money. Enjoy your experience.
Get into your body's vitals with the Vitals app on Apple Watch.
I wanna get into my body and then my skin do the talking. I wanna feel like I'm myself again.
The Vitals app tracks key overnight metrics so you can spot changes in your health before you feel them. The Vitals app on Apple Watch. iPhone XS or later required. The Vitals app is for wellness purposes only and not for medical use.
I wanna get into my body.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show. And I'm telling you, I had the best time with Andy Cohen's adventures with being the daddy of 2 kids. The Daddy Diaries, The Year I Grew Up. Not me, Andy Cohen, has been released. And this, I'm sure, is going to be another one of Andy's bestsellers. He's already had at least 4. He's the host and the executive producer of Watch What Happens Live. That's the Bravo show, the interactive talk show. He's the executive producer of the Real Housewives franchise. He does their reunion specials. I mean, his mother is ecstatic. He won Emmys, 2 Peabodys, and he's a New Yorker now with 2 kids. We always followed Andy's adventures in the social scene that he and his friends were privileged to belong to. And then he became a daddy and his world changed. So what made you decide, Andy, at this point to put it all down for everyone to see and experience?
Well, as you know, Joan, first of all, it's an honor to talk to you again today. As you know, I love to overshare, and I had written 2 other diary books, which were big hits, and I had kind of put them aside, thinking that I was done with that format. But my life had changed so much, and there was so much happening, and I thought, this is an interesting moment to explore being a single dad with a boy and a girl on the way, and she's born in the book, and I talk about how that really changed, my life, and I talk about raising 2 kids as a single dad, and it's been a wild ride, and I just wanted to share it with my readers, and I think that it's a very warts and all look at being a parent, and I think that's what people are really connecting with about the book. I'm not a big BSer, Joan. I kind of tell it like it is, and I think that I'm hearing from a lot of parents who like that about the book.
Well, and also, Andy, you had the gift and have the gift of looking in at your life and really seeing what's going on. Most people don't do that. And to have the diary is really special because you don't have to go to the shrink every day. You can sit and talk into this diary and write and share it with all the rest. I'm reading it. I forgot what it was like when you have babies and young kids, and with all the joy, there's so much trauma. Who are you really during these 2 years, 3 years?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I'm not in therapy currently, and I viewed when I wrote this book, I kind of viewed the diary as my therapist, because you really do need to look inward at your life in a way when you're keeping a diary and you're trying to confess everything that's going on. And it was quite therapeutic for me writing in the diary every day, so that I could kind of think about where I was and who I was and what kind of parent I was. And it was helpful.
And at what point did you really get that your life was transformed and changed, and it looked like it wasn't going to be a going back situation to the old Andy? You were no longer the party Andy.
Yeah, I got that my first night that Ben joined me in the world, but it really hit home in August when I was out in Amagansett, and I had 3 weeks off from Watch What Happens Live, and I was out there with the kids, and I was like, this is great. I have a 3-week vacation with the kids, and I quickly found out that there's no such thing as a vacation with the kids, and that it wasn't especially fun having 3 weeks off with a 3-nager and a newborn. I was like, well, this is kind of hell on earth in a weird way. And so it really was a little bit of a reckoning for me, where I said, wow, this is actually tougher than I ever imagined it would be.
Right, because so many things started happening to you even before the children, that it was a total departure from, I'm sure, a life that you had imagined, and it just kept happening. Even your mom, I'm sure, amazed, like, my boy, look what's going on with my kid. Yeah.
I think having the kids, and I will say, having kids later in life, it was great for me, because I was able to fully be comfortable in the person that I was. And also, I don't have much FOMO anymore, Whereas I used to want to be at every party that was happening, and
I get it.
I wanted to, I didn't want to miss anything. Now I'm quite comfortable staying home with the kids every night, and it's all good. So I think that was really great. And in terms of my parents, it's been such a mitzvah for them. I mean, we're
With the
all later in
babies.
life. I'm in my early 50s. My father's 90. My mom's 86. And now they get to have these new grandkids. I mean, it's given everyone a new lease on life in a way in my family.
Well, it all sounds very exciting, and it's a whole different thing. What I don't get is how you took the whole housewife thing and meshed it into everything else.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the housewives are overtaking the world. It's wild. I can't, if you would have told me 16 years ago that we would still be talking about this, I don't know if I would have believed it.
No, and nor would the rest of us have believed it when
Yeah.
it first started. Housewives, who knew? And
Yeah.
everyone becomes addicted, and everyone wants to be a housewife.
I know, it's wild. I think I was a big fan of all my children growing up. And I think that the housewives have kind of replaced the soap opera in a weird way, because we've taken great care at trying to keep each of the cities going and removing people and adding people and bringing people back. But I love the format. I love soap operas. And so I think part of my love of soap operas comes through with the housewives.
So Andy's latest is the Daddy Diaries. He calls it The Year I Grew Up. And believe me, we can all relate to that, only we're not a single guy who's dealing with all this as you are. But are you satisfied now? Even that lingering of a little bit of having to be part of everything, which you did. And you could still do it, but it's a little complicated when you have to get up at the crack of dawn and make breakfast
Right.
and do all those things.
I wish I got more sleep now that you mention it, but otherwise,
Well,
I'm
that's
good.
hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. And kids are voracious. They're so demanding. When we look in, we don't realize. And then if it happens to us, we're lucky enough, the world totally changes. Do you feel you're missing out on things? What is it you want now that you apparently have everything?
You know what? I'm good. I don't really I want world peace. I want us to be able to communicate with each other again. Everything's so divided. But in my own life, I'm very happy. But boy, I thought housewives were demanding. I didn't really know until I had kids what demanding is.
Yeah, I'm telling you, voracious. And
Yeah.
it doesn't change. It's just you change as they go from the constant care and needs to teenagers. Well, you can look back on your own life and understand all the things that are coming next.
Yeah.
And do your kids ever question you as a single dad, or this is their life and they don't even think about it?
Well, my son, he started to say he wants another dad, because I think sometimes when I say no to him, he wants to be able to go to someone who will say yes.
Right.
And he sees, we don't know other single parent families, but we certainly know a lot of other kids who have two dads. And so
Right.
I'm happy for him that he sees other kids that have two dads. So he sees that there are a lot of different ways to make a family. But maybe that's the one thing I don't have. Maybe I need to get on Tinder a little more and bring home another dad for Ben.
But that sounds very complicated at this stage.
Well, it
You know,
does to me too.
yeah, dealing with a whole other person and their needs, and plus the needs of these two kids. Is bringing up your daughter very different from what it was with Ben?
So too soon to tell. I mean, she's only one, so besides, I'm learning a lot about vaginas.
Well, things you never thought you'd have to
I
deal
never
with.
contemplated. Yes.
And is she easy?
I mean, she's a Taurus. She's a little more strong-willed than Ben ever was, so I think I'm in for it. But I think that was I knew that even before she was born. Her name is Lucy, and that's a very strong name, and she's a very strong girl.
Well, that's good, because you're not exactly a weak person. She's got to be strong.
I like strong. Yeah, I like strong women, if you hadn't noticed.
Yeah, of course. And you're surrounded by a lot of strong women too.
Yes, I am.
So, do you still have time to have fun?
I make time to have fun.
That's not easy.
It's not
And
easy,
of course,
but I live life to the fullest. I think anyone who chooses to live in New York means that they are making the choice to participate in life and take it by the horns. And so that's what I do. And it is more complicated, but I like a challenge.
Well, always. Do you find, Andy, and I'm talking to Andy Cohen, whose latest reflects his life, the Daddy Diaries, and he calls it The Year I Grew Up. Do you find the city has changed in the last year or two? Not only you changing, but the surroundings.
I do. I mean, I live in the West Village, which is a glorious place to live. But yeah, I mean, I think we got to get a handle on not only the cost of living here, but there are a lot of people with serious mental health issues who are not being looked after, and I don't know what the solution is, but something's got to give.
And like what? And who's going to make it happen?
That's a good question. I mean, I wish there was some. Didn't Mayor? I mean, I thought I was a fan of Mayor Bloomberg. The city really ran under him. And I wonder if there's some Bloomberg protege that can appear and help us. Well,
we definitely need that. We need Bloomberg to say, I'm bored with my regular successful life.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I know. It's wishful, and everyone wants that across the gamut of New Yorkers. But you're right. We're not going to get that.
No.
It's too hard. So it's crazy, but do you ever think of politics in your future?
I do not. I mean, I look at some of these idiots that are running and some of these, people, some just terrible people. And it makes me think, gee, if these idiots can get in there, well, I certainly could. But it's not really the life that I'm looking at. I think I'm better suited where I am.
Yeah, well, you're in a very good place. And when you do look ahead, is there anything that you are not involved in now that you wish you could be?
I don't think so. I think being engaged with my children is really where all my extra focus, will be. Professionally, I love everything I'm doing, and it brings me great joy. And so I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. Dianu,
Right.
Joan.
I
It
do.
would have been enough.
Right. No, it's all good, and it's still evolving because you've got
Yes.
two little kids who are evolving, and you've got to go with them and change.
Exactly.
When you take them to school, or your daughter's too little now, but do you get involved in that life with the parents,
Yeah.
or it's in a
Yeah.
separate category?
No, I do.
And he likes that you deal with all the play dates
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. No, he loves having me around. He loves me. And as a single parent, I have that responsibility. I mean, every parent does, but as a single parent, I want him to know that I'm there,
Right. And of course, you were lucky because you have dear friends who were sharing your experience, who are also single parents, single guys, and are bringing up kids. Does that make it easier for you because you've got a sympathetic ear from a few sources so you can really have a helping hand if it happens?
Yes, it definitely does. Oh, I have a great network, and I have some of my oldest friends. I have a great group of old friends who I rely on, and who one of my old girlfriends is with Ben right now at the playground, and I want him to have a lot of strong women in his life too, because I had a very strong mom. I have a very strong mom, and so that's really important to me.
Without question. But you know that's going to happen because that's the world you tend to be in. And you can be, without even the mom, the very strong dad. And they're getting that. So do they fight or get along, the two of them?
They get along. They get along.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a lot of good things and a lot of interesting things. I got a big kick out of the Daddy Diaries. And of course, my experience was totally different, but I still remember how hard it was when you're even working all the time. And even if there is someone else, to deal with life and with growing kids who want you as much as they can. I mean, you describe when you have to go on a trip or something, how angry your little boy gets, and he just wants his dad.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, it all sounds good. I thank you, Andy. Continued success, and I look forward to talking to you again.
You too, Joan.
Enjoy.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. I love talking to you. I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WABC, and you're going to get a big kick out of Andy Cohen, who has experienced so many different lives in the great city of New York, and it could be yours.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue. Subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
So read the book and enjoy. Stay tuned. There's lots more ahead.
The First Lady of New York Radio.
This is Ask Joan.
My daughter Lizzie, who loves to explore the city, recently went with a group of her pals to the Queens Night Market. They had such a good time. It's a family-friendly, open-air night market. Of course, it's in Queens, and it features up to 100 independent vendors. What do they sell? Merchandise, art, lots of food, and They also have small-scale cultural performances. The market is there to celebrate the diverse cultural heritage of New York City and Queens. Believe it or not, it's already 8 seasons. And sometimes when you're driving into New York or driving out, you pass the New York Hall of Science in Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. That's where it is. And it's free to the public on Saturday nights. It closes August 19th in the summer and then reopens Saturday the 16th. And I know there's a lot to deal with, and we'll remind you when it gets close, but on October 19th, it closes for the season. The value is incredible. Wonderful food, and it's capped at $5 to $6 an order. And this year, where food prices are so high, believe it or not, this terrific market has been able to keep the $5 to $6 price cap, and that's because they have a major sponsorship from Citizens Financial Group, and that's why it's packed. Everyone comes with family and friends, and it's had over 2 million visitors. It's launched 350 new businesses and represented over 90 countries through the vendors and food. And part of the reason, all that is great, and that's why we love it. But I also like the fact that in this market, they feature over 400 musicians, bands, performances. Every Saturday night, they average about 15,000 people. Now think about that. It's unreal. So include this. It's a real New York City experience. It's a very affordable night out. And if you're a good sport with food, we'll try things. Burmese plates, Egyptian food, Peruvian ceviche, Trinidadian curried crab, dumplings, Jamaican jerk chicken, Polish pierogies, Indian tandoori. I'm telling you, everything is there. And they have so much music and demonstrations. Go to queensnightmarket.com and you'll get the whole list of vendors. The only problem is getting there. And when we've checked them out, they've urged us to take public transportation because, truthfully, it's very hard to park. There is a private parking lot adjacent to the market. So when my kid went with a bunch of friends, they all chipped in. So the $15 a car was not a big deal. And they loved it. I think you are too. So go check it out online, and you're going to really have a good time and taste New York City.
Thank you for sharing our Memorial Day show. I love talking to Andy Cohen, and I got a big kick out of the book, The Daddy Diaries. It's really interesting when you think about all the complications that people have in their lives. When Andy, a single guy, gay, decided he wanted a family, and all that went into that, and then changing your entire life to accommodate these children, which you adore and are dealing with. And the old Andy life with people like Anderson Cooper and everything, they're still in his life, but it's different. They're not out partying every night. They're not having crazy New Year's functions, which we all know they had, which caused such a hubbub in the past few years. Once you have these children, your world really changes. And I think you're going to enjoy looking into his world, someone else's world, and all that it involves. So that's very easy to do. And by the way, it's a great weekend. The weather is supposed to be very good. You can enjoy every minute of it, relish it. The city, it was actually looking pretty good. We drove out the other day to Long Island and listening to reports about traffic jams and everything. Nothing. We got out to the East End in under 2 hours. No traffic at all, which I thought was pretty amazing. And Now I'm here looking at my beautiful flowers and enjoying a gorgeous day and happy to share this holiday with you. And I want to urge all of you, go to our podcast. You can just go to the Joan Hamburg Show and you'll find it among your choices. We have a lot of great stuff on the podcast. And we also have features that we do every week. And we have features that tell you where to eat, great food stories. You know, we like to eat, you like to eat, and we share it with you. And we also have a section called Ask Joan, when all the questions that you want, like a lot of you asked us about Memorial Day. What can we do? Where can we go? Can we go on the Intrepid? Can we do these things? So we take all that into account, and feel free to contact us with any questions you have or any needs. We're here, and we love that you're a part of it. Anyway, my dear friends, I hope you have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy every minute. Try to get a little rest. Try to do something different. Maybe cook a little, eat a little, see friends, and just make yourself feel special and feel good. I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to your favorite radio station, WABC. And of course, there's more right ahead.